of background, a little background about me personally. I played a lot of sports in high school, a little bit of college ball. I was a Navy diver. In full transparency, I've been pretty rough on my body for years. Um, and unless I get up in the morning and do yoga or stretch every morning, historically, I was the Tin Man. I ended up having a laminectomy and would get sciatic pain shooting down both sides of my legs periodically. And again, there's no rhyme, no reason. It would just happen and, wake me up in the middle of the night. Um, so being rough on my body, aside from this sprightly individual that, kind of changed and transformed my life, um, he gave us some patches and we ended up trying the X39 and the Eon. So it was about 3.5 weeks. And, one morning I just kind of popped up and was going about my day. And then I realized that I needed to go stretch. And I'm like, wait a minute, I had been going about my morning and realized that I hadn't stretched. And the best, analogy I can make, it's like the Tin Man. Unless I do that, I make the Tin Man look flexible. But it dawned on me that, I've been taking these patches religiously every day, and that for the first time in my life, that pain had been gone, and I had the ability just to kind of move. And in the 3 months, 3+ months that I've been taking these patches, I'm yet to experience a single sciatic pain in either leg. So being able to sleep through the night, not getting that, shout, the wake up of that initial pain has been huge, 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 huge. Um, which then at that point, I was all in. I'm not going to talk about my better half, but this was just my personal experience. Um, the other thing that I've kind of noticed, there's been a handful of things. The other thing is, um, I would have, and especially with traveling as much as I have, I would have traditionally a rib in my thorax region that would pop out. And once that happens and once that gets tweaked, it's a matter of time. It's 3, 4 days. My back is out, and it's 2 weeks of pure hell, right? Um, I tried a the IceWave and put the patch there, and immediately I felt the pain subside, and I was amazed. And then that was actually the first time that it actually went back into place the next day, and I didn't have to go to a chiropractor because typically I'm doing the hunched over. I've got to go through the airports. I look like Quasimodo, kind of, getting through the airport. It's never sightly. But that being said, that was kind of the first aha moment, outside of, no lower back pain. The other thing is I've spent about 3 decades being a developer on supply chain systems, and I have a tendency sometimes when I roll as a side sleeper, I will sleep with my wrist kind of curled up. And when that happens, sometimes it's a 4 day process. And what I mean by that is I cannot go and physically pick up a jug of milk or anything out of the fridge, just because I have no strength in that wrist. The first time that happened, I put the Eon patch on my wrist right there, and within literally an hour, hour and a half, all the pain was completely gone. Every time that happens, it is a minimum of 4 days to kind of work through that. That is the first time that's ever happened. Um, the other side effect, and here's the fourth, and I'm trying to get through this pretty quickly,
Oh, take your
was
time. You're doing fine. Yeah.
um, I had been on a journey and, from a transformation with my health and my weight, and I lost about 40 pounds of weight. And I had a lot of excess skin, a lot of kind of additional wrinkles. It was kind of unsightly, in my neck area. Through the combination of taking this now about 2.5, well, it's been about 3 months plus, but I had people noticing and commenting like, "What have you done with your neck? Are you doing treatments at your office?" And we have some similar treatments, but I hadn't done any of those other than just patching. So it had started to tighten up my skin, and we've started taking and kind of cataloging and taking pictures of the neck so that we have something to compare it back to. But For that, that is what made me anyone that will stop and listen. I love to tell kind of my experience, especially with the back, like the power of the X39 and the Eon, the dynamic duo, and the pain mitigation that it's brought in my life has been completely transformational, and I believe in this wholeheartedly.
Super. So the Tin Man, of course, is the Wizard of Oz we're referring to, right?
Yes.
And I've
I
heard a
mean,
lot of different descriptions of people, but the Tin Man, every time you say that, I could just hear we need oil somewhere, and golly, how long did that go on for?
so that has probably been for about between sports going back to high school, almost 30 plus years. I can't recall a time that, my back or the sciatic pain wasn't a problem. So I would say easily probably 30 some years. And I got that relief in probably 3.5, almost, 4 weeks of taking the patches.
Wow, that's the X39 and the Eon.
Yes, sir.
And
Stacy, what
I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that in that 30 plus years, you have tried a boatload of other possibility remedies.
I have tried everything from homeopathic to stretching to yoga. You would think I'm kind of like a yoga master. I'm not, but everything from it's amazing I still have a stomach lining because of all the Advil and all of the Tylenol, ice packs, heat, everything that I've tried to kind of help bring that relief to my lower back.
So, and not to change the subject, but Amy just real quickly had some neck issues for about how long and how quickly? Last thing, how long did that take before? I mean, you guys must have been quite a pair. You're the Tin Man, and she's got this neck thing going on, and you're running a clinic, for beauty and health and everything, and you're kind of falling apart.
Well, I falling apart is a little bit of a
Maybe
stretch,
that's
but
a little bit of an extreme, but you were on your way. You were on
but
your
to
way.
that point, to your point, Gary, yes, there was some opportunity. Now, since the birth of my daughter, which she's turning 9 here, come shortly next
Yeah,
month. Um, at the birth of my daughter, my wife had since her birth had neck pain. So
yeah.
almost religiously, maybe not every night, but maybe every other night, I was constantly having to massage her neck to kind of bring some relief, reduce some of that um,
Sure.
tension and the stress. She actually experienced the first improvement in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
She hit me in the morning, and I'm like, "What was that for? I took the trash out last night. I did everything I was supposed to. What's
Uh-huh.
going
Yeah.
on?" And that's when she informed and started to tell me, like, this is the first time I woke up and I am pain free,
Wow.
nothing in my neck. So for us, we wholeheartedly believe in the
Gosh.
product, in the solution. We see it day to day.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, our my mother-in-law, we went in um, the other night. She actually had been walking, had some back pain, and I ended up giving her an IceWave, and I'm like, here, just try this. And typically when that happens, she has to work through it as well. But I gave her it, and within 5 minutes, the pain was gone, and she was like, "Where do I sign up? I'm getting this."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, you
Amazing.
have to try it. Everyone's experience is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
we are double down. We wholeheartedly believe in the product and in the solutions.
What a change, what a transformation, for both of you to see things turn around so quickly, and to enjoy a quality of life that you hadn't experienced together for a very long time.
And it's getting better every day because that's the piece. And seeing the technology, already seeing the skin.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't call out is because I didn't have pictures of it, but I'm trying to now trace that. Is she started calling out, which my family, I'm blessed. We have a full lock of hair, all of us, but
Yeah.
it was going gray. My hair is now more of a deeper blonde on the side, and I still have my pepper on the
Yeah.
sides. It's
Yeah,
tough
but
to
you're
see.
3 months in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then
Hey.
on top of it, my eyebrows were white, and now I've
Uh-huh.
gotten black hairs popping up. She called it
Uh,
out to me, and so
uh,
again, I'm now capturing video of the journey
oh,
because I
good.
can't believe
Good.
it.
Good, 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 good. Last thing I'm going to say, when I had asked you about my physical appearance, you said, "Well, this is what we do for a living." So your eyes and looking at people was a whole lot more critical, which I'm not trained in that field, so I didn't see what you had seen. And that's what kind of threw me off in the beginning, and I later understood that. But I'm just thrilled that you guys we met and we were able to kind of help you both enjoy a better quality of life through these patches.
Absolutely. And Gary, I think you were definitely the perfect spokesperson for this. I think Superman is definitely on point because just your energy level, the glow from your skin. I mean, you looked amazing. And I'm not going to call out how old you are, but
It's just a number. It's just a number.
but I'm just saying it's very impressive, my friend.
Even sometimes I'm like thinking I can't be that old, but that's what the birth certificate says. That's what the driver's license says. I'm thrilled to be on the journey with you and your wife. I'm looking forward to you guys having a better quality of life. Kind of reminds me of the Charlene Sailor, Robbie Sailor story that they were going together for a number of years and both in almost the same condition. They wore the patches and they've had a brand new second half to enjoy the rest of their lives. So thrilled,
Absolutely.
thrilled.
Yeah, I'm looking this and feeling this good at 55. I can't wait. Give me another 20 years. I'm going to look like I did in my 20s. So I can't wait.
All right, great job. Thank you so much, David. All yours.
All
Amazing,
right. Wow,
amazing.
Stacy, that was amazing. Great stories. I mean, geez, in 3 months, that's, phew, I don't know, but maybe Sabin, I don't know, your story can be, can be that
Oh,
amazing. Where I know your hair looks like it was gray before. But yeah, we would love to obviously hear from you now, Sabin, on your story and your journey. So, how did we met?
yeah,
And what has been transpiring with you
sure.
and patches.
Got it. Yeah. So, hello, everybody. My name is Sabin Lopez. I'm here in the Houston area, outskirts, small town called Katy, Texas. In Katy, Texas. I'm sorry. So my wife and I are sitting at a local barbecue joint called Rudy's Barbecue, and I hear we're having a debate about our next steps in our business venture, and I told her, my wife, I said, "Hey, there's people behind me. They're talking about this insurance company that I'm involved with at the time." And so my ears perk up a little bit. And then she says, "Just leave them alone. Don't." I said, "But I'm just curious. Like, I wanted to turn around and say, hey, what do you guys know about that company, right? Like, fill me in." But so I got up to use the restroom, and at that same time, David got up, and we kind of headed in the same direction to the restroom, and we're standing taking care of business, and I'm thinking in my head, should I ask him about the insurance company right now, or should I wait? Like, maybe this is not appropriate. Standing taking care of our business. So as we were washing our hands is when I decided to ask him, because it was just like eating me up, man. So um and now I know why, right? So we start having a discussion. We're washing our hands. We get them dried up, and then we walk out the restroom, and we start talking in the hallway. And he tells me, what the business he's in, and starts explaining. He's like, "Come on, why don't you come have a seat with us?" And so we walk up back. I walk back over with him, and I tell my wife, "Hey, let's move tables. We're gonna sit with David and his wife Sally and a buddy of theirs, Jojo, and so we start talking, and then they start telling me about the patches and how it helps and transforms people's lives, and it helps with the healing process, and it helps with pain. And he asked me, "Do you have pain?" I said, "Yeah, man, I have pain every day. Like, first the biggest pain I have are my bills. That I don't know, can it help with the bills?" And so, and he was like, "Yeah, it actually can." Right? So I'm kidding, of course. But I said, "Yeah, man, I got a bad shoulder. I've had a motorcycle accident, and I went and got checked, and while they put this dye in my shoulder, and it ran down to the pain was in my shoulder down my bicep. And when they put that dye in there, the doctor's like, "Well, I don't really see anything. The dye is just sitting there." He said, "If you had a bad ligament or something, that dye would shoot down that ligament and highlight where it's messed up. As soon as he said that, I just twisted my wrist a little bit, and the dye shot down, and I saw like in the scanner how the ligament was like a burned wire, like it was just all frayed and torn, and it's got a lot of scar tissue. So I suffer from my shoulder to my down my bicep a little bit, and it runs through the middle of my back on top, so it kind of loops all the way around. And so I was telling him, yeah, man, I got that pain every day. You know, I go to bed with it, I wake up with it, is nonstop every day. And
And how long you were suffering at that point? I didn't mean to cut you off, but how
oh
long
man,
you
it
were
was
suffering too?
12, 15 years. Yeah, so it's been a really long time. The only way that they told me to get rid of that pain, which wasn't guaranteed, was to have surgery. And a friend of mine had the same type of surgery that I needed, and he was never the same. He was real stiff. You know, his arm stayed real stiff, even with therapy and all that good stuff. So, and then they asked my wife, "Are you in pain?" My wife has a autoimmune condition, so she has migraines every day. And just like Stacy, you know, my wife was, you know, taking Motrins and Advils and all kinds of stuff daily. You know, and I was really concerned about her stomach lining and all that, you know, the stories we hear about what it does to your body. And, you know, because I would find empty vials, you know, everywhere, the bottles, and I needed one or two every now and then for myself, and I can't find it because they're all empty. I'm like, damn, what the hell? Save some for me. But, you know, due to her condition, so I understand. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, medicine, alcohol, things like that. I feel whenever I take a pill, I always have the side effects. I try not to feel it, but I do. So David said, "Well, why don't we patch you up?" I said, "What? What do you mean patch?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to patch you up." I said, "Okay, you know, let's do it." So he patched me up. Within minutes, my shoulder wasn't hurting. Like the pain was instantly gone. I would say a good 2 to 3 minutes, it was gone. My wife's migraine disappeared almost instantly after they patched her up. So I thought to myself, wow, this is pretty incredible, right? And I'm like, kind of like in a state of disbelief, but like, man, this is kind of really working. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. So he sends us home with a few patches, and we patch up the next day. We took, you know, the instructions that he gave us, and yeah. So again, it helped.
Tell them your pain point before I patch you though, and then how quickly it went down, like from
Yeah. So yeah, the pain. I mean, it's immense usually. I mean, my wife thinks that I'm grumpy because of my age, because I'm because I'm getting old. But it's really because I'm in pain every day, like every day before the patches. Like I said, I wake up with it, go to bed with it. It's constant radiating, burning pain that I feel in my shoulder and through my back and my bicep. And you know, but when David put the patch on right here in the back of my neck, and then he put one on my shoulder area, right at the top, right up here, put two patches on there.
What
I
kind?
mean, within probably 2 minutes, I would say that radiating, burning feeling was gone. The pain, like I was able to actually lift my shoulder that day without feeling a burning sensation or a stinging pain that I usually get. I mean, it was really instant. And I'm not trying to, you know, over glorify this or try and make you, you know, believe in the snake oil kind of thing, but there was no other explanation. It wasn't the brisket. It wasn't the fries that I had with the brisket. This was literally the patch. There was no other
What
anything that I
patches?
did different.
What patches did you have?
So David gave me the X39, put the
Okay.
Eon, and then it was I think it was the IceWave,
Yep,
Okay.
the
it was
IceWave. And then he did the same for my wife. So my wife, you know, her autoimmune condition instantly took care of her pain as well, because she's in immense pain as well every day. Of course, I don't tell her, well, it's probably your age, because I want to live, right? I want to stay alive. I don't want to be
Smart man.
unalived.
Smart man.
So, so she felt it immediately, and she was bought into it faster than I was, because you know, I'm a little skeptical of things, but you know, so when we came home is when I really knew that this was working, because the next morning I'm a side sleeper like Stacy. I sleep on my side, and I know that aggravates a lot of the same um, side that I have the problems with. I can't help it, right? I have to sleep that way. And but the next day and the couple days after was gone. Like it was like it was like kind of, I was like in a state of shock, like, man, this is really working. Like, I think we need to do something with this. And I told my wife, how do you feel? And she was like, yeah, my headaches are gone. She goes, oh my God, I didn't even realize that I didn't even take any Motrin the past couple of days. I hadn't even looked for it. She goes,
Wow.
and it was, man, I'm telling you, as soon as she wake up, oh my God, my head hurts. I woke up with a headache. And then there's the bottles, you know, she's rattling them off and taking her Motrin, and just to start her day so that she can get her day going, right?
So,
To reduce the pain.
excuse me. So just to be clear, we have two one-patch wonders, a husband and a wife,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
One set of patches, your pain's gone. One set of patches, her. I don't know if that I've ever heard a live podcast where both people were one patch wonders. Now, Stacy and his wife were a
Yep.
couple of weeks.
Yep.
My wife was a one patch wonder. 4 hours later, hip pain
Yep.
gone.
Yeah.
But to have you two in the condition you were in one day, and then the next day you're like new people. That's pretty. I've never had. I haven't seen a podcast with two one patch wonders. So,
Oh,
David, just want you
it
to know
gets,
that, my friend.
thank you. I appreciate that. And it gets better
Yeah,
than that. So,
yeah.
so now that I'm a believer, right? So after maybe 3 or 4 days, I call my mom. My mom, she's disabled. My mom has neurofibromatosis. She has she had a herniated several discs that they replaced and kind of botched her in a way. She's in immense pain all the time. My mom cannot sit. She cannot stand. She cannot lie down. She is in constant pain. She's on a lot of pain meds. To this day, she's still struggling with it, but she cannot sit at the dinner table for more than 5 minutes to have dinner with my dad. So she'll try and eat as fast as she could within those 5 minutes and has to get up and go lie down again. So I call my mom. I say, hey, mom, I think I have something that can help you, right? Ease just to ease some of the pain that you're in. She was like, what, for real? I said, yeah. So we got her some patches ordered, sent them to her, walked her through it over the phone. And the next day, this is no joke. The next day, my mother was able to sit for 45 minutes and enjoy dinner with my father. And that is a true story. My father is hardcore, and he don't believe in much. He's always like, if you're rooting for a certain football team, he's rooting for the opposite, just to antagonize you. So my father's like that. He's very critical about stuff.
Oh gosh.
He has
40.
trigger finger,
Uh-huh.
and he's been dealing with it for probably about a good 3 or 4 years now, and cannot get relief. He cannot find a doctor that can really actually help him with it. So I had told my mom, hey, tell dad to put it, put a couple patches on just to see, like see if it helps. And I'm like with a drum roll, right? I'm waiting. So the next day I call my mom and say, hey, mom, what's going on? How you feeling? She goes, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. I literally was able to sit down at the dinner table for 45 minutes before I realized, like, oh my God, I'm sitting here for 45 minutes. What in the world? Like, I finished my meal with your dad, and we talked and we had a good time, and I went back to go lie down because the pain was coming back. You're talking about a day or two later. So my dad did not want to admit it, but he finally did, that the pain in his trigger finger was gone. He didn't want to admit it.
One
But
day,
Wow.
it was
one day.
gone.
Was it one day?
I think it was 2 days for
2
him.
2
days.
Yeah,
days.
Oh
within
my
2 days.
Yeah, 2
Wow.
days.
Yep.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, when I tell you that, I was skeptical at first, I really was. But then as I felt it in my shoulder that dealt with for 15 plus years, for a very long time, actually. And that was gone immediately. That
Don't
radiating pain was gone. That, waking up in the morning without pain was, yeah, man, that was just incredible. but most important to me was my wife.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that she struggles with her condition and all that, and this has totally changed her life. And the other thing is, I know it's kind of embarrassing for her, but she will talk about it. But her menstrual cycle, after she got her second round of the COVID vaccine, it totally changed her menstrual cycle. My wife's very tiny. She's probably 100 pounds. She's she says she's 4'11", but she's 4'9" or 10. So she tries to get herself that little extra inch. Very tiny, but you know, her flow is always light and stuff like that. After the vaccine, she would like have accidents. It was very heavy. You know, it wasn't regular. It really messed her up over the past couple years. Within a month, her cycle was returned back to normal, like the way it was before.
Wow.
So that was unbelievable. And I mean, I have to like, you know, talk her through sometimes, like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. And oh my God, it's so heavy. Oh my God, I feel terrible, you know, and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, you know, I feel really bad for her. And she knows, you know, that kind of messed her up after she got the vaccine. And if you do some research on it, you'll see that it's true that it's affected a lot of women that way. But now that she's been on the patch, her patches have really it changed her. It put it back to normal,
Wow.
and she's, you know, loving it, that, you know, she's not having accidents, and you know, not, you know, her cycle would last 2 to 3 days normally before the before the vaccine. Now, like after she had the vaccine, it would go on for like 7 to 10 days, sometimes 2 weeks, and which was totally abnormal for her. Wasn't right. And she'd been like that since when did she get vaccinated? 2021-ish, end of 2020, going into 21. She'd been like that for the past all these years. So now that she's on it, she's back to normal. She's,
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing. It really is. And there's no other explanation. We haven't done anything different other than the patches. We still eat the same. We still going to Rudy's barbecue. You know, we're still doing stuff like that.
Hey, you still
And
get the pleasures of life right now, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's the reason why we're all here, right,
Yeah.
Gary?
Yep.
Just
Just
amazing.
one quick note though. So I don't know
Sure.
if you have your wrist up, Saban, but let's
Oh no,
share
I
with
don't
the
have it on.
community. You don't have it on right now?
No, I took it off today.
He and I have this wrist right in the middle, which is the one I have right here.
Yeah.
And we didn't notice the day that I signed
Right.
him up and
I forgot about that.
patched him that we both have this same exact one. It was
Same
almost
exact
like God's
bracelet.
divine.
I
It's
know, man. It
amazing.
was.
It's amazing. So,
That was pretty
hey,
cool.
Stacy, Saban, what an incredible journey, incredible
Yeah.
stories. We
Yep.
love both of you. We hope that we can circle back to you in 6 months and maybe hear some more miracles
Oh,
that,
for
you know,
sure.
whether you're a one-hit wonder or Stacy within less than 3 months. But this is amazing, Gary. You need to tell our audience how they can get a hold of this. How did this thing work? And
Yep.
then what do we do to
So
help
I
everybody?
saw from the text, you know, people were asking where did we patch? You know, I saw in the
Oh,
chat comments. I just want to say I purposely wanted to try and dispel, you know, and I got the manual and of where to patch. I
Yeah.
was literally putting it all over my body,
Yeah.
trying to say, okay, let me test this. And that's the whole piece of this. Not
Yep.
I'm a trust but verify individual, but at the end of the day, I literally was putting the patches everywhere I could, just trying to say, prove me
Yes.
wrong. And
Yep.
3.5 weeks later, that's when I called Gary. Where do I sign up? I'm done. I'm sold. Put it.
Yes.
Well,
Exactly.
it's not every day we have one patch wonders and then we're taking care of a mother and a father. I mean, this is just incredible.
Yep.
But like Jenny said in the chat there, you don't quit before the miracle. Everybody's different.
Yep.
People take longer. Your experience isn't necessarily going to be anybody else's, but there are a lot of people that get results in the first day, the first week, the first month. And then you have people that are 3, 4, 5 months. I don't feel anything. And like my friend Catherine Ingstrom, her and her mom 5.5 months in, got off her walker, walked 200 plus yards, and they were all just almost hysterical on what had taken place. And if she'd have quit, I don't know what the condition would be. but the longer you wear it, the more things happen. And it's just
Yes.
amazing what David Schmidt's come up with. So what are we talking
Yeah.
about? We're talking about the X39, a patch basically that is activated by our own bodies. We're the power source. It's a photo biomodulation. What's that? Light coming into the body. The light that we give off is reflected back into the body once this forms a crystal lattice mirror, if you will. And as it goes into the body, it's elevating a GHK copper peptide. That in itself is amazing. If you look that up, the skincare industry calls that particular peptide the fountain of youth. I'd like 2 of those, please.
Yeah.
And then it turns on 4,200 pluripotent cells. And if you look that up, they're the only cells in our body that can go anywhere in the body to heal, repair, and do what they do. And again, the longer you wear it, the more things it's going to do for you. So it's truly a gift from God. God patch, magic patch, one patch, wonder patch, you name it, whatever you want. But what's taking place here tonight with you 2 guys and your wives and your mother and father, and I believe Stacy's mom or his mother-in-law, is just incredible. I'm thrilled that I was on here. I listen to these all the time. It never gets old, but tonight you guys raised the bar and a quality of relief that just doesn't happen to everyone. So I'm thankful that that's taken place, and I'm grateful to be on this journey with you both and everyone on here. Don't quit for the miracle is what I'm saying. So,
Yep.
David,
right.
anything else you want to add, my friend?
No, it was that podcast, Gary. It's the first time I think that we have had the double trio, if you want to call
Yeah,
it, one hit wonders.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
definitely appreciate everybody joining us tonight. You get back with the person that loves you, that asks you to come and join us here tonight to hear these great testimonies. We are on here every single Thursday, whether it's myself or Gary or the rest of our team that handles the Thursday calls. We welcome all of you to continue to join us and listen on and continue this journey with us in LifeWave.
And then the link they can go look at is startx39now.com. There's information there. And reach out to the person that invited you to this and thank them. It's really amazing what it can do, and keep on patching.
There you go.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Have a
Have a
good
good
night.
evening,
Good night, everybody.
everybody.